It was a cold, windy morning, the kind of day that seeps into your bones and makes the world feel heavier than it already is. Sarah Walker stood behind the counter of the small-town cafe Tilda Copyright, her fingers trembling slightly as she poured hot coffee for the early rush of customers. Her uniform was clean but faded, her hair tied back neatly, and the smile she wore though tired day was genuine. She had been working double shifts for months, trying to keep food on the table for her 7-year-old son, Ethan. That morning, as she glanced up from the register, she noticed a man sitting alone in the corner. His clothes were neat but not flashy, his face paled, and his eyes, though sharp, carried a weight that matched her own. He looked like someone who had the world once but somehow lost it along the way. He ordered nothing more than a small black coffee, and as he reached into his pocket, he froze. His wallet wasn't there. Sarah noticed the hesitation. Most people would have turned away or judged, but not her. Without thinking twice, she smiled softly and said, "Don't worry about it. Coffee's on me today." The man looked up, startled. "No, I can't." She shook her head gently. "It's just coffee. We all have bad days." He studied her face for a long moment, as if trying to understand what kind of person still offered kindness when they clearly had little to spare. Then he nodded, took the coffee, and whispered, "Thank you." Sarah didn't think much of it. She'd done what she always did, helped where she could, and went back to her life. After her shift, she walked home with aching feet, the sound of her worn-out sneakers tapping against the wet pavement. Ethan was waiting for her by the door, holding a drawing he'd made of the two of them flying a kite. "Mom, when we have more money, can we go to the park again?" he asked innocently. She smiled, brushing his hair aside. "Of course, sweetheart. Someday soon." That night, as the wind howled outside their small house, Sarah lay awake, staring at the cracked ceiling. Her rent was overdue, her electricity bill was hanging by a thread, and her second job at the diner was cutting hours. She whispered a silent prayer, not for wealth or luxury, just for a chance, one break that might make things a little easier. The next morning, Sarah was woken by a strange, thunderous sound. She sat up, startled, pulling Ethan close. The sound grew louder until the entire house shook. She ran to the window and froze. A helicopter was landing right in front of her tiny home. Neighbors peeked through curtains, whispering in disbelief. Sarah stood in her doorway, shielding her eyes from the wind as the helicopter blades slowed. A tall man stepped out, wearing a suit and holding a briefcase. He was the same man from the cafe Tilda Copyright. "Miss Walker?" he called out, his voice steady but kind. Sarah nodded, speechless. He smiled. "You probably don't remember me, but yesterday morning, you bought me a coffee." Her heart raced. "Yes, a broken bar, I remember. You didn't have to come all the way here for that." He laughed softly. "Actually, I did. My name is Daniel Brooks. I'm the CEO of Brooks Enterprises." The name sounded familiar, a company known for its humanitarian work, one of the biggest in the state. Sarah blinked, unsure what to say. "I wasn't myself yesterday," Daniel continued. "My car had broken down after I left the hospital. I'd been visiting my mother as she passed away the night before. I felt lost, angry, and alone. And then a stranger gave me kindness when I didn't deserve it." He looked at her with gratitude shining in his eyes. "That cup of coffee reminded me that there's still good in the world, and people worth believing in." Sarah's throat tightened. just a broken bar did what anyone would have done." "No," Danielle said gently, "most wouldn't." "You did." He opened the briefcase and handed her a sealed envelope. Confused, Sarah opened it and gasped. It was a check, written in her name, enough to pay off her debts, buy a new home, and start a business. "I don't understand," she whispered. "Why me?" Danielle smiled warmly. "Because sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness deserve the biggest rewards. Consider it an investment in goodness." Tears filled her eyes as she clutched the check, her knees almost giving out. Ethan ran up, wrapping his arms around her legs, not fully understanding but feeling the joy in the air. Danielle knelt down to the boy's level. "You must be Ethan," Ethan added shyly. "Are you an angel?" Danielle chuckled softly. "No, buddy. Just someone your mom helped when he needed it most." Sarah's cafe-tilde copyright job soon became a distant memory. With Danielle's help, she opened her own small bakery at Ethan's Corner cafe-tilde copyright. It became a place where people gathered not just for food, but for warmth and kindness. She made it a rule that anyone who couldn't pay would still get a meal, no questions asked. Months later, Danielle visited again, this time with no helicopter aid, just a simple smile and 2 cups of coffee. "One for you," he said, handing her a cup, "and one to remind me that a little kindness can change everything." They sat together, watching Ethan play outside. The world had turned, life had changed, but the message remained the same: one act of compassion can ripple through countless hearts. If you're watching this story right now, maybe there's someone out there who needs your small act of kindness today. Because you never know how much difference one moment, one cup of coffee can make.